3, 2, 1. What's going on, Pack? Steve Del Savio here. I am here with Jamie.
Hi, guys.
And we are here with Adam, who you cannot see, but you can
Hello,
hear.
everyone.
Behind the scenes. So as you guys can see, we're here for another episode of the Ask the Pack Leader Show. New setup, and we're trying new things. We would love feedback on this. And I was actually talking about this before of how I wish more people would take more action and just try shit as opposed to trying to be like perfect about things. So we tried one look, we're trying this look. Who knows what happens with this, but we're going to do our best. And as you guys know, like I always try to pride myself with you guys as being authentic, and you guys fucking know that I'm authentic and stuff. So I just want you guys to know that like this is what we're trying, this is what we're doing. We are not trying to be perfect or say we're like the Joe Rogan podcast yet, but hopefully we can get to that point of trending high. But yeah, it's crazy times here. It's the election, day after the election. And as you can see, we have the American flag up for election, and a lot of uncertainty out there. It's been a crazy, crazy time. I was up kind of late last night seeing what the hell was going on here, and then finally was like, wow, this is a lot of uncertainty. What I'm certain about is I'm going to sleep right now because I got shit to do in the morning.
That was the same with me, too.
Yeah, Adam and I got up early. We're actually introducing our adventure camp, which is pretty awesome. We're taking our upfitted Mercedes van, and we're going down to Hoboken picking up dogs. And that's something that I wanted to do. This is a recommendation for business owners too, is I like to know everything going on. So I don't know like exactly all the stuff Jamie does. I don't know all the stuff Adam does for sure, but I like to have an understanding of everything, and especially a service that I'm going to be getting with the dogs. I want my expertise added to that and to have a full understanding of what is it like to go down there and pick up the dog. So I mean, some of the clients today were like, oh, what's up? What do we owe this pleasure? When I was like showing up, and I'm like, I'm just here learning about how we can get these dogs going and make this the best service for you guys. And and listen, the clients appreciate that stuff, you know? It's like it shows that you really care about what you're doing and stuff. So that was like really cool to do. And I have a whole list of things now that I want to change so I can provide our client. This is what we're constantly doing, is saying, how can I provide a better service and a better experience for our clients? And for you guys, how can we provide a better show, better questions, better answers, a better look? Me calming the fuck down so I can actually talk and deliver the information to you guys.
That might take a little more time.
Yeah, that's going to be about a couple of years, but we'll get there at some point. But yeah, the uncertainty going on right now, and we were talking about uncertainty before, saying how for us, like listen, uncertainty started for most of the world. It happens for all people at all times, right? But the huge amount of uncertainty, the biggest uncertainty we've been hit with, at least in my lifetime, has been this coronavirus thing. Yeah. I would say 9/11 too, obviously, and then now this coronavirus thing has been crazy uncertainty. But what I always tell my clients is like learning how to be certain in the uncertainty. So there's uncertainty happening. What's going to happen? And for us, it started primarily as a team and all that. It started with Maddie being our dog that we relied on, honestly, at least I relied on, to help rehabilitate dogs and train people. And when she got diagnosed with cancer, I'll tell you what happened with that. And the reason I want to talk about this really quick, which I didn't even mention, was the day she passed was November 2nd. What's today, the 4th or the 5th?
The 4th.
4th, so it's 2 days after, a year ago that she passed from physical world, but energy world, she's still here. Mm-hmm. Trust me, we feel it all the time. It's so interesting, like when I post those videos and we talk about it, we always say like, it's almost like, yeah, she's like, you know, over there somewhere, and she's going to be back around. She's around. Like, she's
it doesn't feel like she's gone.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like she's gone. It feels like she's still here.
I said that the other day. I was like, well, you saw a video, and I was like, she's just somewhere else.
Yeah, you watch the video of her running in the snow and shit that I posted, and you're like, oh, she's like over there running in the snow now. Like, but she's still here. She's physically there, but she's here. It's like, it's a very bizarre feeling, but I really believe in it. And I had something like a couple months ago, I think I told you guys, where I was like leaning over in the kitchen and I was like getting something out of the pot, and I was by myself in the house. It's very rare that ever happens, by the way. And I'm leaning over and I just stopped and I like turned around, and I actually had this like visualization of Maddie coming up, smelling me, wagging her tail, and doing this weird thing she used to do. Well, not funny thing she used to do. She'd be like, and then like go run off like and just do zoomies and stuff. And I was like, what the hell just happened? It was so bizarre of a feeling. And I go with it. I really believe in it. I really believe in energy, obviously. So yeah, it was a really, that's where all of our uncertainty for sure started, was like things are going smoothly, we're getting everything ready, we were preparing to purchase that the land so we could build our dog training facility in Hoboken, and then it was like bam, Maddie has cancer. And how that happened, it was actually one where we were running, remember how much we were running around like crazy during that time prior to Corona and all that? And I was off with you, I think, at a session. And we had just filmed a session, and we brought Maddie to the vet. Or actually, you and Cassie had brought Maddie to the vet because she was starting to limp on her back leg. So I was like, let's go see what's going on with her. And my biggest fear at that time, believe it or not, was like, I hope she doesn't have hip dysplasia, because that was something for a huge, she was 125 pounds. Big girl, tall legs. And I was like, and she got a lot of exercise over the years, for sure. Like more than most dogs in a lifetime, right? In a full lifetime. And when I got there, Jamie was like, all right, I'm going to head out. And you left, and because you wanted to just leave me and Cassie for that thing.
Yeah, I also didn't know how you were going to take it. Because Cassie and I were both preparing ourselves for, like, how do you think he's going to react? And Cassie's like, how should I word it?
Yeah.
Like, we were so nervous about telling you.
Yep. So I sat down, and Jamie left. She's like, all right, I'm going to head back to the house. I was like, cool. And I could see Cassie being a little weird. So I was like, so what's up? What's going on? She's like, it's not that good. I was like, fuck, it's hip dysplasia. She's like, no. And I was like, what is it? And she's like, it's cancer. And I'm like, and this is where I was talking about, in that moment was like the first time in my life that I actually realized all the prior work that I had been doing of working with dogs, basically rehabilitating myself and investing in me, of learning, practicing calmness, doing my breath work, doing meditations, working with these dogs and really focusing on my energy and being able to be calm with this dog, to be able to help them. All the uncertainty in business and all that crazy shit of getting these permits and all this stuff that was going on. But I'm wrong. That was actually after. That helped us with that. But all the stuff prior to that was able to help me in that moment. So when it happens, you don't prepare for something like that, I don't think. I mean, I guess that would be the preparation, but you're not prepared for that specific event to happen. And when that happened, Cassie said she has cancer. And I don't know what you guys were expecting as my reaction. Maybe like a meltdown.
That's what I was going to ask you, Jamie. What was that?
Yeah, like what were you expecting?
What were you expecting?
Yeah, I guess I was more expecting you to be like, kind of freaking out a little bit. Like, what? Like, what do you mean? How did this happen? And
likely because,
what are we going to do?
I think likely because that's the way most of the public would react.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And me in the past, for sure, I would have reacted that way too. Before I did all this stuff, all this work, I would have been, what? Oh my, or, oh my God, what am I going to do? And you see, and by the way, you see these people in the vets doing that stuff and sharing that shit with the dogs. It's just not good to do with a dog. So quick tip, by the way, if your dog is sick or injured or going through cancer or whatever, they're not totally aware. They live in the moment, and your energy is by far the most important thing. So me sharing that journey with Maddie has helped a lot of people, because I get tons of messages on here from people saying, thank you so much for sharing like the journey with Maddie and all that stuff, because it really helped me focus on the dog and more focus on how can I help this dog and how can I stay in a healthy state for this dog. So they just live life not really understanding what's even happening, and just like, wow. Because if you saw Maddie, you guys saw on Instagram and on social media how Maddie like lived like freaking like life was the greatest thing ever up until like the last couple of days when she was like done at that point physically. But she lived like running around on 3 legs, like running around, barking, having fun, ripping her toys up. I would do the thing with the toy, and she would go, I go, hey, Maddie, and she'd go, rah, grab the toy.
That was her favorite.
Yeah, so it was, she lived a great life up to that. And so when it happened, when Cassie said, she's like, hey, Maddie has cancer, I said, all right. So that was my first thing. I wasn't planning on doing that. I just did that. That was my reaction. So all the work that I had done prior to create this subconscious behavior, to tap into my subconscious through all these repetitions, through mind meditations, breath work, and getting inside myself. So my subconscious reaction there, I didn't think about breathing in that moment. I just was like, relax yourself before you make a decision or before you overreact. And the amount of times I'm with a dog and the dog lunges or barks or runs away or tries to bite, you have to be able to stay calm in that moment, right? And that's like kind of like that video that we just posted with the sheepdog when he starts freaking the fuck out. And I'm like talking to the camera, I'm like, keep this on me. Look, so this is happening, guys, blah, 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 blah. So I can be like the tree, almost like that's like has the root into the ground. Like, I'm going to be the constant and be the calm confidence right here for you and support.
Not to deter too much from the conversation, but we were talking about doing a breakdown of that video.
Which video? Yes. So something I want to do, I had the idea in the car today, in the van today, of, did we talk about me going down there yet? Because by the way, so you guys know, we've shot this like 2 times. The first time it was getting a little glitchy, what we did. So did we just talk about me going down to Hoboken?
We didn't in this one, no.
Okay.
Not as much.
Okay, so today, this is a tip for business owners. We're going to get a little bit off here. Actually, let's finish the Maddie thing. This is my growth, by the way, people.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Slowing myself.
I knew by bringing that up, I was going to take him off a little bit, so I was like,
but he brought himself back, so it was a good test.
Really good.
So to finish the Maddie thing, so I found out, and what I did was, when I found that out, I said, okay, and my next, after my deep breath was, so it was, Maddie has cancer. I said, okay, so what do we need to do? So I took it off of me that Maddie having cancer was doing something to me, that I needed to overreact, and it was my life's going to be ruined, blah, blah, blah. It right away went to, and this is what I do with dogs, is what can I do for her? What do I need to do for her right now? Because I'm the leader. I have to help her. So,
but you also don't know all the details either.
Yeah, I didn't know the details. I didn't know, is this like, is she going to die tomorrow morning? Or is she dying now? Is she dying in years? Is this like never going to, like, I don't know what's happening here. So since there's so much uncertainty, why join in the uncertainty and go crazy? Instead, let me be certain and that I will be calm and confident in the face of uncertainty. And this is like what the Navy SEALs are doing. They're like, they train for this shit, right? So we have to train and practice for this shit too. They train in like the worst conditions. So when they're in the middle of the Middle East and here come the bullets and the bombs and the craziness and all that stuff, they're like, this is what we're doing. This, and this. That's why I love watching the SEALs because like the way they handle situations is really a lot of like, I'm not saying I'm a SEAL, but like how I handle with the dogs. I'm almost like the Navy SEAL like with dogs. So that was the whole journey where it all started. We saw her, and when I saw Maddie, and when me and Cassie walked in, so actually it switched from that to help. I realized I had to help Cassie too in that moment. So I told her, I said, all right, so what we need to do is we have to be strong for Maddie right now. So it's going to be easy for us to melt down and cry and fucking lose it when we see her. Oh, we're going to lose you and all. But I said, what we need to do is be strong for her because she's been really strong for fucking us. And I could tell you she was strong as hell for me when I was at my worst. You know what I mean? So I was like, I need to be strong for her. Now I owe her for what she did for me. So we went in and we talked to the oncologist, blah, blah, blah. They gave us like not the best news. They were like, oh yeah, you looks like about a month left and this and that. And we, you know, and then what happened was after that, then she broke the leg. After she had been doing radiation.
That was the tough part to see that.
That was the tough part.
To see her be uncomfortable and all that.
Yeah, then she broke the leg, and they were trying to convince me to put her down at that point. And I was like, nah, we're not doing that. So you can take that leg out of there. And they said, whoa, 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 buddy, to me, like, this is a big dog, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, big dog, go ahead, keep going. Tell me about all your bullshit. Got it? You done? Good. You don't understand the energy of this dog. You don't understand who she is. So when are we scheduling the appointment? To have it amputated. And they're like, listen, if you really believe that she can handle this, blah, blah, blah. I was like, not only is she going to handle it, she's going to come home early. Just see you now? Like, way early. So sure enough, we go through the amputation. Then she's supposed to come home like 3 or 4 days later. Like the second day. Are you available today to come pick this dog up? And I'm like, she's ready? She's like, yeah, she's kind of getting antsy and is walking around and wants to get out of here. And I'm like, yeah, no shit. I'll come get her right now. And we got her out of there. She was a little groggy and all that stuff.
She recovered so quickly, though.
She's just like ready to go. And then she had the greatest...
She didn't give a shit that she had 3 legs.
And then she started getting the other one, the big tumor on there that was bothering her, but she didn't even give a shit. She was just going nuts, and she lived for a long time. Like, they gave her a month. She lived, I think, 15 months or 12 months. 13 months. And it was 1 month. So I really believe that it was due to our energy and how we behave. That's why I make such a big deal about the energy thing, because I definitely think it would have been a different scenario if we would have had a meltdown and just like panicked and went into, what are we going to do? Okay, like I guess we have to put her down. And like, no, my calmness allowed me to be logical and make a good decision. And my confidence in her, my optimism made me believe, and my instincts too, made me believe that this was possible for her to live way longer. And she gave us another full year of like an amazing time. So,
and I think you did a lot of research too. You researched supplements and other routes and different vets and surgeons. You didn't just stick to one person.
Yeah, like so the conventional veterinary route was basically like radiation, chemo, good luck.
Right.
You know, it's
we'll
kind of
see what
it
happens.
Is. Yeah, see what happens. And I was like, all right, I understand all that, but what else can we do to optimize the body? Because I went through something with myself of like being a mess. I mean, you guys saw the pictures. Jamie loves my fat pictures, she calls them. Like, as you can see, she's already going to start. But
We're
it was
gonna
like,
have to post that at some point.
Yeah, you have to see these. So I was like literally 40 pounds heavier than I am currently right now. I was telling you this today.
I was the same.
Yeah.
Before
Adam too.
Before I came to work with you.
So this is like what I love about this like company that we're doing is like not only are we helping people and their dogs, but we're like rehabilitating ourselves, all of our traumas. We've been doing a lot of shit. And like I want to get into
Jamie was actually 30 pounds lighter.
Exactly.
She put some weight on.
Yeah. But it's like we're rehabilitating ourselves, supporting each other. So we're our own like human pack that's helping each other. You guys are part of my pack. I'm trying to help you guys and bring you in on this thing, on this growth journey. As Tony Robbins says, if you're not growing, you're dying. And progress is the whole damn thing to find happiness. So we're just on a growth journey and it's enjoying the process. That's another part. Is like people want to like, once I get here, I'll be happy. Well, you can wait, or why don't you just do it right now? Start figuring it out. And how does it start? Self-awareness and accountability. That's the biggest thing for me. And another thing I wrote in the Slack today to the team, I don't know if you guys saw it yet, but it was, what the hell exactly did I say? I need to read this to you guys. But it was really good it was basically a quote about, it says, you gotta really want this shit. Don't do the bare minimum and expect greatness. Get up every day, go for the kill. Shit's not going to fall into your lap. If you want to eat, you have to hunt.
That's a good one.
Yeah, and I said understanding what to do, talking about what you are going to do is one thing. But taking action and doing, I put in caps, is where it's all at. So that kind of goes into what we're saying about this. Instead of talking about how are we going to do this podcast for 10 years long and then like finally shooting it when it's like we think it's perfect.
Right.
When then that perfection is not even reality. We'll just wait forever. Instead, we're just doing now. We're like, we should do a podcast. Yes, we should. We should ask people. We should ask people questions. We should answer them live. We should do it. How are we going to do it? I don't know. And that's where I always go into the belief before the how-to. Where people are always in like this execution mode, like, how do I lose weight? How do I get my dog to stop barking on leash? How do? Well, I'm like, well, do you believe you can lose weight? All right, so forget about the how-to. That's why everyone's failing on these diets, failing with their dogs, because they're not over here believing and starting in the mind of like, this is where I can definitely do this. I will lose weight. It's done deal in my mind. I've lost weight. Not even like you're going to. It's done. I already lost weight, and I'm healthy and I'm strong. The mind starts saying, fuck, we got to start creating that because we're not feeling that way right now. So we need to start creating that feeling through the thought first. Right. I'll go crazy with this shit. I can go on forever. So let me get back to on track. The uncertainty was the Maddie situation started. Then throughout that, we're getting approvals to do real estate deals, multi-million-dollar real estate deals to figure out how we're gonna rent and then own a property, how we're gonna build a building on it, how we're gonna get approvals to do a dog business in the middle of a freaking city that already was like, I don't know what you guys are thinking about doing, and everyone telling us we weren't going to get it. By the way, we got it. All you people said we couldn't, because we believed, and then we figured out the fucking how-to. So then that whole thing happened. Fuck, what happened after that? Then...
Jamie, remind us what happened.
I remember. Then we decided to get the ranch. And this is in the middle of me going to LA. I'm doing workshops with Caesar. I'm touring with Caesar. And then we decide, all right, on one of the tours I'm with Caesar, I was actually with Yoa from Palmely, my good buddy down there. Check him out, Palmely PR on Instagram, awesome. And obviously Caesar, you guys know Caesar's Way on Instagram. I was down there on tour with them, and we were talking about stuff, and something just popped in my head. I was like looking at them, I was like, I need a fucking ranch now. I literally got on my phone, I called Cassie, I said, start looking at ranches right now in the Northeast.
When you were going through all this stuff with the property in Hoboken, I was like, I feel like the ranch is going to be like a good idea, but I just didn't know if that was a good timing. And then sure enough, the ranch
just happened.
Yeah.
So Cassie sends me a list.
The ranch was a long-term plan.
Long-term
plan.
Yeah,
it was
first,
further
and
then
away.
Expand. And then I remember we were talking about it, and it just kind of switched, and we're like, why don't we swap? Why does that have to be long-term? Why can't
so
it be now?
Our plan was...
instinctually, I was feeling that, but it was...
Yeah. So I was like, all right, we have our small place in Hoboken. We're doing it out of there. I'm living in the damn thing. Now we need to get out of here and expand. So the first obvious step was like, let's go expand in our same city, bigger location, get the proper permits and everything that we needed for that location, and let's do a center there. But then this is a great thing about business too, and being certain and being confident and like believing first and then figuring out the how-to. So, and I think pivoting in business, like, look, we just pivoted the show. We were like, I don't even remember the last setup. I think I was facing you or something. I don't even remember. And then now we're doing this way. So we pivoted and we're trying new things and figuring out the how-to, but we believe this is going to be a good show.
And now that we brought that up, let us know what you guys like better.
Yeah, let me know what you guys like better.
I personally like this one better.
Yeah, tell us what you guys like. So, because we want to, if this is a good side of me that you want, or we want me and Jamie. Anyway.
I personally like the old setup. I was on the couch.
Yeah, because she was like,
yeah,
I knew that's why you like that one. That's hilarious.
So then I decided to get the house, and Cassie sends me a list of like, I think it was like 5 or 6 places. I saw the first one, and it was this place. I was like, this feels good. And then I was like, all right, let me see the other ones. I was like, okay, bullshit, blah, blah, blah. And this was obviously the most expensive one, too. And I'm like, all right, how are we going to afford this shit? Blah, blah, blah. But if I just figured out how are we going to do it, but didn't believe that this was going to work, this is all bringing it back. Because if I didn't believe it, this doesn't happen. Because like on paper, it's like, bro, how the fuck are you guys going to afford all this? You got a Hoboken house. You got a property that's like insane payments every month. And now you want to bring on another place that you have to like do stuff at and like do construction and all this. But I was like, yeah, but we need a ranch and we need to do this now. So we figured it out. Okay.
That's something we always say. It's like, how are we going to do this? We're like, I don't know, but we'll figure it out.
So
yeah, don't worry about the how to.
Did I talk about Maddie when her passing day was yet?
No.
Or was that the last? Okay.
That was the last
so Maddie, today's November 4th. Maddie passed on November 2 last year. So this is basically about a year since she had passed from physical world into energy. Well, she's always been in energy world, but the energy stays. Because I always believe energy can never be created nor destroyed. So where's that energy going? I believe that she is in here. I believe she's part of you guys, all the people she touched and everything. She's you guys there. She's part of all of this, right? She's the one who started this journey. I mean, she has a fucking ranch named after her, so she did a pretty good job in her time. So then the next part was what? So then, okay, so she passed in November 2nd last year.
It was right after the closing on the...
Huh?
It was right after the
1
closing.
week. Yeah, we closed. We closed on this place. I got the keys, and then she passed 1 week after. Unfortunately, she never got to physically be here, but she is here right now. And I told the story. Did I tell this story yet about me downstairs?
Just say everything from scratch.
So I don't know if I said this yet already, but I was downstairs like a month ago, and I was like by the cabinet, and all of a sudden there was nobody in the house, which is like never happens. And I felt like something. I just stopped what I was doing and turned around, and I had this like vivid visualization of Maddie like running up with her big ass goofy face and like drool pouring down and smelling me. And then she would do this thing where she would smell, and I'll go, what are you doing? And she would just go, nah, and like run off and like rip her bones around, like throw her bone in the air and go crazy and do the zoomy thing. And I like watched that happen, and then it just like went away, and I was just like, what the fuck just happened? I had no one there to like talk to about it or anything. But I don't know what it is. And I've also had another one where I was in a meditation. I don't know if I even told you guys this. I had a meditation where I was literally up here. It was the beginning of the quarantine, and I was like in a deep meditation, and all of a sudden in the middle of the meditation, like coming towards me, like walking towards me, first started Maddie, followed by Cammie, who was my parents' dog, who I lived with too, who I actually got with my parents. She passed away 10 days after Maddie. Let me say that part too really quick before I go there, which was Maddie passes, we close on the ranch. Maddie passes a week later, which I believe she was like, I've done my job in this shit. I rehabilitated this crazy fucking guy, Steve. I rehabilitated him. I helped all these people. I got this mission started. My job is done. They got the ranch. That's what they needed to do. And by the way, name that ranch after me. Okay, we got it for you, Maddie. And we named the ranch after her. And then Cammie passes 10 days after that. So like the amount of shit that happened in a row right there, I mean, you want to talk about being slapped with uncertainty? It was nuts. Yeah. And we didn't actually move into this place until March.
Beginning of March.
Beginning of March of this year. So in the beginning, of course, what they say about buying a new place, yes, there's a lot of bullshit that happens when you buy a new place. Like things go wrong, blah, blah, blah. So the radiant heat here wasn't working, and it was the middle of winter. And up here, it gets cold in the winter. So we had to get that repaired. Then that was repaired in like January, though. Mm-hmm. And we were delaying. We were honestly procrastinating.
We were trying to figure out when's the perfect time to move.
Yeah, that's a great point. So it was like, when's the perfect time for us to get to this new place? You know what I mean? And I realized there's no such perfect time. So I finally came. I think I just like walked up the stairs one day, and I was like, her and Cassie are prepared for this shit all the time. And I go, all right. And they're all like, here we go. What does he want now? And I'm like, we're moving to the ranch March 1st. That's it. Like, enough is enough. We got to get up there. Mm-hmm. And we all agreed and said, fine, we're doing it on March 1st.
I was already up here at my place.
Yeah, you were already up here. Yeah. And we got it. So we came on March 1st, and then like March 6th, it's like, hey, what's up, coronavirus? Mm-hmm. A global shutdown for still basically right now going on. So the amount of uncertainty that
But what better place to be in quarantine than up here?
The best place.
It's almost like, it almost makes you feel that like Maddie somehow knew that this shit was going to go down. They were like, you guys need to get
out of there.
Yeah.
You need to get out of this city and all this craziness that's there, and you got to help our species and your own species get out of this concrete jungle where energy is like super high and horns and honking and speed and this. You guys got to get out into nature, and you need to bring dogs out of here and bring people out of here so they can find balance. I really think that was the whole thing. So yeah, that was like the whole part of the certainty and the uncertainty thing. And I believe that Maddie taught me, or at least got me to the point of learning that, wow, I got to work on myself. The answers aren't out there. The answers are right in here. And this whole team has been on this crazy growth journey. And listen, some people have left our team because of that. And the people who are here now are super strong. Like I really feel like getting stronger and stronger, that the core here is getting more, the growth is happening, we're getting tighter, we're getting stronger. Just the pack is getting stronger. And it's just like a group of dogs and everything. Like the weak ones are either going to have to figure out how to join or get the fuck out. That's the bottom line with that thing. And that's what we've been doing with it. It's not like we're kicking them out. I haven't fired anybody since we've done this. They're just like, I can't handle this. I gotta do my own thing, or I gotta go do something else. Or I need a break, or blah blah blah. Understood. And I don't shame people for that. I'm not angry for it, but I think they're gonna miss out on the big thing. But and since then, we've got some really cool people coming in, young people coming in who are really motivated. And I get messages all the time from people. How do I join? How do I be?
Shouts out to Christian that just moved from Ohio.
Yeah. You got a 23-year-old Christian who picks up his stuff.
Who makes us feel old.
Yeah, I know. It makes me feel...
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes me feel younger.
Who just picks up out of nowhere and just comes here. Just moves here and says, I'm going to do whatever it takes. Asking me if you work 12 hours a day. Asking me if you work 7 days a week. I'm like, bro, you're like me like a little while ago and still now. But yeah.
I told Steve that he reminds me of me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the hunger for like growing, learning.
That's what it is. And once people learn that part, and I would say, like, when it comes to the growth thing, since we're talking a lot about this right now, is not saying where do I need to go to get it. It's more of like, what do I need to learn here first on the inside, and what let me be brutally honest with myself, or like, and from an objective standpoint. Because I think what a lot of times people are is like, when they look inside, I can tell you just from my experience, from looking inside, I was like scared to see what I was going to find. Like, what are these traumas? Like, what's making me tick this way?
Right.
Like, what the fuck is wrong with me? But I heard somebody say, it's like, forget about being fearful of that shit. Be grateful that you can actually see it. Right. You know how many people go an entire lifetime of never even seeing what's within? And they just live in this subconscious state of anger, frustration, depression, hate, fear, all this bullshit. Throughout their whole life, they live and die just like that and suffer the whole way through. So being able to actually see it should be like, oh my God, I'm so grateful that I could see that. So I am so grateful, and I get to share it with you guys and share it with you guys, which is amazing. And hopefully we can share this eventually with the world, so we can stop having so much uncertainty, so much disagreement in the world, like all the disagreement that goes on in the dog training world, and the disagreement that goes on in dog parks, the disagreement that goes on in business. I mean, everywhere. Anything, disagreement on what diet you should be on, what workout you should be doing. It's like disagreement all over the map. And it's a lot of people who are insecure, who are just trying to jump into something that they say, I don't know, I just believe this, and I'm going to defend it and try to keep myself safe. Instead of like being like, well, let me just stop that thing, work on myself being calm, finding my confidence, and then objectively looking at that. And that's what I do in the dog thing too, is like, I rarely consume that much content, but when I do, I try to consume, especially dog stuff and human psychology stuff. That's all the stuff that you guys see me doing. I'm always, and I see you guys doing the same, but for the dog thing, I'm like, let me see what this person has to say. Everyone's writing them off and saying they're bullshit and this thing sucks and blah, blah, blah. Well, let me see from an objective point. I'm not just going to take your word for it, you know? And I think that's what happens a lot in like academia a little bit, is like, oh, these people from the past said this, so this is what it is. Like you hear it all the time, science has proven. Fuck, like you're just stopped? Talk about like ending evolution, like evolving,
right?
Growing, blah, blah, blah. It's just done, so this is just it. It's like, okay. To me, like, I mean, listen, they used to tell people back in the day that smoking cigarettes in moderation was healthy. Yeah. Is that science good now? I'm pretty sure it's not. You know what I mean? So.
Some people still believe it.
Yeah, I know. Exactly.
That's why they still do it.
So, yeah, that's basically the big summary of the certainty within the uncertainty that happens and got us to this point.
Which and here we are now.
Which brings us to the questions. Election, yeah, actually. I know. Like, how long have we been going now? I said.
We're in 30 minutes.
Okay. So let's get to the questions. So we're in the uncertainty of an election right now, but. You know, whoever wins, it happens, and it's not in my control right now. So we voted, whatever, and it's out of my control. So why am I going to stress about it and be anxious and freak out about it? Whatever happens, happens. And I think that's a huge point too, is being able to surrender to what is, as opposed to being like, and if you want to change it, you got to figure out how to change it. But that's something that if it's out of your control to change, accept what it is.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, be what it is. And that's what I've learned a lot about business too, is like, instead of me trying to make this employee what I want them to be, and I'm going to try to inspire them, push them, but if they're not that, or they're not prepared to make that change and stuff like that, I have to accept what that is and then put that person either in the right position to succeed, or tell them you're not part of our pack because you're not going to fit in energetically with what we're doing. Same thing I'm doing with dogs, by the way. Exactly the same thing. Is like, how do I get this dog to find balance? How do I get them to a good state, and how do I get them to fit in with the pack and help with the create a good relationship with the owners? That was good. A lot of shit right there. Let's get into the questions because like we'll go.
We'll go forever.
I could talk forever. Yeah. Obviously.
All right, let's start with the first one.
People do like you to go long though.
Your rant.
I know.
From the feedback that we're getting, they love it.
They like it. Yeah, I know.
They want more of it. Unfortunately, he has other things to do.
Yeah.
So that's
can't
only
do this all day.
Yeah, it's the only limitation that we actually have.
And we do this for you guys. Remember, it's like this is like, we're not getting paid right now. We're not doing anything. But this is like, for me, this is part of me serving like the universe. Honestly, is like, this is the last thing I want to say. Then we can do
I was
questions.
going to say this could be a whole nother topic.
But I think what happens, this is a really good point though, is so many people, I really believe in like the way the universe works is too many people are thinking, what can I take? Like, how can I, give me money, give me happiness, give me. And then the universe says, give me back, which means they never find their happiness because they're like, all right, give me money. It's like, well, all right, here's your money. Now give me back like your happiness.
Right.
Give me back your calmness. Give me back this. It's like almost like the trade. As opposed to me saying, what can I give you, universe? What can I give you? How can I serve? And then the universe says, well, how can I serve you back? I think you need a ranch. I think you need a Mercedes van that you can go pick up people in dogs and hobo people. That's maybe the next step where this evolves to. I probably should. Human behind the dog. But so we can go pick up dogs in Hoboken, you know? So think about how you can serve. And by the way, giving is an amazing thing. That's one of my favorite things to do, is to give to people. That's why I love doing this shit, because I feel like I'm giving you guys information.
But to give without expecting anything in return.
That's the other part. Is like giving without expecting something to happen in return. I'm just going to give. And if it comes back, great. If not, so what? I'm giving, and I feel good about my conscience and
you know what?
What's
As you're saying that about the giving thing, we were talking about this. We're thinking about acquiring more land, whatever.
Yeah.
And I said, in order to attract that and manifest that into our lives, that we have to start giving right now.
Yeah.
Hard. So this podcast, answering questions, going live, those are all things that we're giving to people.
And the video course that we're planning on doing and all that stuff. So we're planning on making videos for you guys that you can understand like the basics. Because everyone keeps asking me, where can I get more information on dog psychology?
It's coming.
And I'm like, look at my shit, obviously, but I understand that like going like, whew, it's a lot of videos and it's all over the place on Instagram.
Concise information.
So I'm going to break it down. And I realize as I've gone on and like in time of doing this stuff that I sometimes lose awareness of like the complexities at which I talk for like the dogs and the humans and the relationships, that people are just like, it's a lot. I'm not sure exactly. So I'm like, let me bring this back to the basics. Like when I was first learning, what it would have been for me to learn. Like when I was first sitting in that class with Caesar and hearing him talk, like what was clicking for me and what got me to really understand this stuff at a deep level, and then what I did. So that's the plan that we have, and we're going to give you guys some awesome shit. I think it's going to be like revolutionary, or like literally like some of the best material that you guys will ever see.
Absolutely.
Not you think, it will be.
Yeah, it's going to be.
So we have to check ourselves sometimes.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
And just a sneak peek, we're starting with what?
With what?
What are we starting with that we talked about?
Oh, bringing a puppy home for the first time.
Nice.
Like how, even like getting a puppy, before you even bring that puppy into your house, what is that like? What are you doing? And it's going to be a whole video on that. And I think that's a huge one for people to really understand, because one of the biggest issues we have is like these people come with their dogs and there's a lot of incompatibility. I'm like, listen, you guys are really, it's like being in a relationship with two completely incompatible people. Like you can get it to the best it could be, but it might not be like a really optimal relationship. Mm-hmm. So, but there are definitely times where you can make it a super optimal relationship, and they are compatible. They're just like not communicating. They're not like getting this message to each other. So yeah, that's a good one. So yeah, that's coming, by the way. Let's get through the questions.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Come on.
It's about time.
She's eager.
Right?
Jamie's just eager to talk now. Guys, can I get my part in here?
Yeah. All right, so the first question is from Kalia and Leilani with Sully. What exercises or things are good for building a dog's confidence? She's not super athletic and has a weak rear end. She is 6 years old, timid, and insecure. We have her female litter mate who's deaf and a 1-year-old deaf male.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so confidence, right? In insecure dogs. A great one is like, if you guys are getting this, go on my Instagram and look at the sheepdog video we just did. The sheepadoodle, sorry. Forget these doodles now. It's a sheepadoodle that we just got for board and train. And to give you an example, really what I'm saying by this is what are the things that make this dog really insecure, right? So if it's something, so when we did a live, Adam and I were shooting a live, and we brought the dog into the new dog park, and they were actually putting up the fencing. So the poles are just up around, and they had a roll of fencing that was about, like 10 feet long or something. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it would be like 6 feet. 6 feet and like, I don't know, a foot high, a roll, just on the ground, right? We bring the dog near it, and he starts losing his shit, barking, going after the thing. What?
No, nothing.
I think he was looking at me weird. I was like, geez, look, I'm getting all insecure. No, so he's barking at it, barking, going crazy at this thing, and I'm like, okay, so this is making him insecure. So I know he can definitely do this. This is like an obvious thing but in his mind, he's so insecure that I'm like, there's no way I can get over this. Just jump over this. This is a really tall dog that could do it, obviously. But he's like, I don't know what this is. Panic. Ah! Just hasn't been like any understanding of like outside world. Very humanized dog, right? So then finally we get to the point where I'm like, I'm going to work this guy through this because this is going to be an enormous moment. That one piece of whatever that video is, 10 minutes long, of starting with him as a full-blown panic, I will not do that, to on his own, agility, jumping over that thing back and forth, was an enormous piece of confidence that guy built. You know what I mean? So anything that you see your dog's like, listen, what I used to do, because Maddie sometimes would be weird about this. She would be like she would see a garbage can like that wasn't there the last time, and she'd go, yeah. The hell is that thing?
A plastic bag.
So what I would do with her is I would bring her into a little bit of happy-go-lucky, like away from that, and then bring her and go, oh, check this out, girl. Like the motivational coach type of thing, right? So I would be like, check this out, girl. And she's all like, oh my God, can I? And I'm just like, yeah, you could do it, girl. You got it. And she would smell it and be all around it. And she'd, oh my God, I feel so proud of myself that I did it. And build confidence each time. So anywhere that you can find where your dog's like a little unsure, you don't want full-blown panic. Like, that's more for the professionals, in my opinion. But, like, where the dog's, like, a little unsure and they can accomplish even little things like, you know, you put, like, a platform on the ground and, like, even a Coranda bed, like the platform beds. I can't go on that. If you can get that dog to just go on it, yeah, celebrate with them, and then you can get food if they're in a healthy state. That's all little things that you do. With Nico, since he's been a puppy, I just have him climb on anything that's available, I have him go on. They put all the gravel outside when they were putting the dog park in. Oh, check out the gravel. Let's go on that. Look at the bulldozer. Let's climb on that thing. Look at the junction box outside. Let's go on top of that. Like anything that's available, I was putting him on things, this and that. So the one thing I would say about the weak rear end thing is, one thing that's good is sometimes like getting the dog to go on things and like things they're uncertain about. But with the weak rear end, he or she might not be able to jump up. But regardless of even the weak rear end, something that I do with the dogs is like, let's just say I wanted the dog to like jump onto here or get on here. It's hard for me to really explain it, but like what I would do is bring them up to it and try to get them to put their paws to here, right?
The front paws.
The front paws to here. But they're going to be like more like this, like, and they're going to try to keep their legs down and not do it. So then from here, like the dog's like this. I don't know if they can you see this? Yeah. Yeah. The dog's like hanging over. So here's the front paws like on here, the head's here, and the thing's hanging down. I'll start lifting the butt up, right? And lifting the butt up enough just so the dog's like trying to be like, all right, I'm going in. And when they start really pulling in, I like let them go almost. And when they're really going to commit to it, I let go. Yeah, good girl, good boy, and that thing. And that could build a lot of confidence because they feel that they did it themselves with your help. So the final thing was them, I got in there on my own at the end, even though I helped. And then as time goes on, you help a little bit less and less. And all of a sudden I'll get it right on that thing, no problem. So it's a lot of shaping the behavior too, of like, not just taking some fearful dog and like putting it on the top of the bulldozer. They're gonna be like, I'm not even going near the bulldozer. So that could be like, listen, perfect example. The dog's like terrified of the bulldozer. How close can I get before the dog like melts down or like loses it? I'm gonna bring it up to like as close as I can to that threshold and stay there and like build confidence there. Then I'm gonna leave, let the dog rest, and I'm gonna come back and do that again. And I always do that after we drain some energy, so that energy doesn't fuel the fear that causes them to just run away.
Right.
Hope that helped. Okay, next.
That's a good one.
All right. Next question.
I know it was a good one.
It was okay, actually. Now that I think about it, it was all right.
Yeah, it was kind of shitty, actually.
Okay. C Ski Bratz asks, we just adopted a 3.5-year-old German Shepherd mix who is a big mush with us. However,
Time out. That tells me right away affection is an issue. Continue.
However, she is really territorial with my parents' golden retriever when we are indoors with them. On walks, she is great with the other dog. But when we are inside all together, she growls and herds the other dog into corners. How can we help her calm down with other dogs?
So she's hurting the other dog. Well, that has to be stopped right away because she's trying to control the space of that dog. And these kind of dogs do that, like fearful dogs and weak dogs will do that too in these environments. Like, you know, you get the people who say, when my dog loses it when people come into the house, but then I put him on place, or I put him to lay down, or they put him on the couch, wherever they put him, and the dog's there, and when everyone's sitting, everything's fine. But then all of a sudden someone goes to stand up and the dog, and really what that dog is doing, it's a nervous, anxious dog who's likely in the leader position, controlling the movement of that human. Because they're saying, I don't like you moving in here, and I have to lead, and I have no fucking idea how to lead, so I'm just going to bark at you and try to get you to stop moving. It's like a person who's like, don't move, don't do anything, blah, 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 so I can feel like I'm in control of everything. And it goes into the certainty stuff, too. But in that situation, what I would do is put a leash on the shepherd in the house and prevent that behavior from even happening. Or you put the leash on and let the leash just hang. And once he starts that herding thing, or you see it even starting to begin, hey, and just to break the attention on the actual herding behavior. And when he's like, huh? That's where you walk over to him or her, pick up the leash, pull up on the leash, settle the dog down, shh. And then from there, you settle them right in the moment, because they have to understand right there where they did it. That's what you disagree with. What too many people do is the dog starts herding, and they go, hey, get out of there, go away, go. So all that does is it takes the dog physically from here to there, but they didn't learn energy anything, because the dog says, all right, I was hurting, so let me just go over here. But you didn't do anything about the mind to tell them to settle down right in that moment. So they're just like, oh, you want me to stop for now and then go over here? No. I want you to stop for good right now. And then once you're calm here, you got it, we followed through, great. Calm, follower. Now I'm going to send you to your bed and go relax over there, or go do something else at that point. So that's what I would say about that stuff. You heard what I said about the affection? Definitely, somebody just said it today, like, my dog is territorial about something or whatever, and where do I start? I said, I should read it, but I think the things I said were
you can read it if you want.
Yeah, I should just read what it was, because it was a good one of what I wrote to her. But it was basically about, like, people are always thinking, what's the training that I need to do? But it's really, I'm all about the relationship, right? So I'm like, there's a relationship issue there. That's what the big thing is. And it's almost always relationship issue that's happening. Okay, here we go. So I said to her, she said, I would love to understand how you do this with people. So she was asking about my dog's like nervous about people, and my pup loves to protect me. Like this dog is like hurting the other one, but it's the protection thing or the territorial thing is the same. My pup loves to protect me, and it becomes so challenging to help him feel comfortable. So I said, assess and evaluate how much time the dog spends in your intimate space. And I put in parentheses, on your lap, holding him, pressed up next to you, in bed, on the couch. Then how much affection is being given, and if it's being given at the correct time. So in my opinion, people are way over affection on the dog, and a lot of the time at the wrong time. Because, all right, so the dogs aren't fulfilled with exercise. There's not enough discipline, so the body and mind aren't challenged, and they're petting a pent-up, usually excited, anxious dog. So they're just nurturing that state. And I said, is the dog receiving enough structured exercise? Is there structure in his day, or is there too much free time or / free-for-all? Those are the big questions to start with. Mm-hmm. So that's what I would tell them to focus on that stuff, is first check those boxes off of like, well, that's true. My dog does just do whatever the fuck it wants in the house. It runs around. It's on the couch. It actually does sit on my lap. It actually does press up against me and lean on me. I do pet my dog when he's anxious and excited. You know, like those are the places to start, where everyone's thinking like, should I put a prong collar on him? Should I? What tool do I need? What's the quick fix? No. It's not about that. You have to be in relationship mode of figuring out the relationship first, and then figuring out what are the tools that I can use to help enhance this new relationship and my energy and my new relationship with this dog? That's really what it comes down to. Hopefully that made sense. Next.
If not, you can comment.
Yeah, and if you have more questions on this stuff, like, I'm obviously just shooting them off of like what I would be doing with these dogs, but if there's more questions or you want more in depth, ask in the comments and we'll answer them. Go ahead. Next.
Okay, next one. Patty Angelosi. Sorry if I butchered that, but there are situations where medication is a solution. Sorry, let me read that again. Are there situations where medication is a solution to an over-anxious dog? Many people recommend CBD and natural products. How should one approach a dog who isn't responding to exercise, challenging the mind, and other processes?
Before you answer that question, we actually do have a video that we're going to be releasing soon.
Which one?
It's in our Dropbox. It's how to affect anxiety without medication.
Like the natural way.
Yeah.
By the way, did you guys see these cups? How sick are these? I had these made. They're etched in. The Matty Ranch Dog Psychology Resort and Spa. Holy shit.
Did you not even know that was on there?
Yeah, I didn't even know the spa was on there. That's pretty cool, though.
Fancy.
What we do,
It's funny because Cassie didn't know that was on there yesterday. She just realized it. Steve originally
I think I got it made,
it.
actually.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't even remember doing that.
And then Steve's always like, order 10 more, order 10 more.
Yeah, keep ordering them. I just want to look at Maddie's face all day. But I put the spa part because that's more for like the dogs and humans, and we want to eventually evolve this place where humans can actually come here and find balance through the animals and all that. So that was the part of that. What the hell is the question again? Fuck.
About medication.
Yeah.
With anxious dogs.
So here's what I think is shit is reversed. And when it comes to that, from both like when she's talking about the CBD, natural products and all that, and also from like the veterinary behaviorist, like medication type of world.
Just to make sure you understand that part too. She said how should one approach a dog who isn't responding to exercise?
Yeah, I know.
Challenging the mind and other processes.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying is like which is awesome that she's trying that. So, but she's saying she's doing that, but that's where I'm like, well, who is the trainer that you're working in and what are you doing? Right. You know what I mean? So it's like she's not responding to challenging the body and mind. And this is what a very common one is. I've tried everything and it's not working. And then I'll say one thing. I love this is the favorite thing at Caesar when we do the workshop is like, so one of the students will say something, I've tried everything and blah, blah, blah. And then Caesar will say, or I'll say like, well, have you tried this type of thing? Well, no. Well, have you tried that? No. Have you tried? So you haven't tried everything. So your belief, by the way, was that you've tried everything, and then you're in the how-to now. That's not working. So we have to get back to the belief. Like I just haven't figured it out just yet. Now, for me, medication stuff is like more for neurological issues that like there's some wiring off that we have to do something about that, or physical issues. That's like the main thing for me with medication. I believe that most dogs. I really believe that all dogs, to be honest, in my experience at least, don't need medication. I really don't believe they need it. Now, given certain scenarios, like, you know, if there's some person who's like completely incompatible with their dog, I mean, the best thing for me would be to be like, let that person do the selfless thing and say like, we're so incompatible, I'll never give this dog the real life. So instead of me just doping this dog up for the rest of his life, I'm going to realize that I can't help this dog, and I'm going to find this dog the right home to be in and find a more compatible dog to me. That's one thing. People sometimes see that as I'm giving up on my dog, but I'm like, I think you kind of are giving up on the dog by just like putting him on medication and just letting him go through it.
Right.
Because like my question always is this, right? When people say like, yeah, but there's dogs, some dogs just need medication. I'm like, okay, well, let me bring that dog here to this place and let it live with us for 1 year. And we'll see if it needs medication. If it doesn't need medication, the dog doesn't need medication.
Right.
That's just the truth, right? Because if it's here and it can live and survive and do it, it doesn't need medication. But in your environment, with your work schedule, with your lack of time with the dog, with your lack of commitment to the dog, or not knowing what to do with that dog, which I understand that too, which is why we do all this shit.
Which is why also when we take any board and trains,
that
we ask them to come not on any medication, no
so,
anxiety medication.
Yeah, believe it or not, like
some vet tech actually gave you a little bit of insight as to why they actually
give
medication.
So that's another one.
Because of what you just said.
Oh yeah, this is a great point too. Is that like sometimes people hear what I'm saying and they're like, wow, he's really like he's against the vets. I'm like, no, not at all. I think vets are amazing. I think they're great for what they're doing with dogs and they're helping them with physical. I just took one of my rescue guys, Luigi, to the vet yesterday. We spent like 3 hours with this vet, or 2.5 hours, a long time. But we spent 2.5 hours with this vet. And she's more of like she's an integrated vet, you would call it. So she has like she went to school and got the whole veterinary thing, but she's like into the holistic approach too, which I really appreciate, you know. So I love that integrated approach, like medicine and nature, like put it together and where can we use it in the right spots. So what's awesome about it is like I go in there and we're talking about Luigi. He's got like some skin conditions, blah, blah, blah. So she's in her expertise in the physical, right? And and I have Cassie on the thing and they're talking about all this. And she's saying to me, I go, listen, like, this is your guys' shit. Like, and I don't like, I want to understand this and I'm listening. Oh, that makes sense. It's really good. Got it, blah, blah, blah. But now when it's time to actually do Luigi's nails or we get to look in the eye, blah, blah, blah. What I love about her is that she's open to being like, is there any particular way you want to do this? Because she's aware that she didn't go to school for behavior. She doesn't have that much experience of like dealing with cases like that stuff. So, and she knows I do. So I'm educating her on the behavioral stuff. I'm not a vet behaviorist. In my opinion, too many of these vet behaviorists are reading other people's work in academia world, taking it as the gospel, like this is just what it is. And I know this, by the way, because I know so many vets, and we have one of our employees who's now in vet school. And, hey, what's going on with the vet? How's the behavior thing going? Just like you said, they start with medication, then they go to whatever. And in my opinion, that's ass backwards. It's like, well, what can we do in the nature form? And then we can go to other options. Let's try CBD and try more natural products and things like that. But let's go the nature route. Make sure we're fulfilling body, mind, heart. Make sure we have leadership and calm follower, or all those things before we go jump into that stuff. But what was so cool was like, so we're doing like the nails and Luigi's getting a little weird about it. And I'm telling him, all right, stop now, go. And she didn't understand why. And she said, can I ask you? And then, okay. And at the end, she's like, all done. And Luigi's like wanting to get out of there. And I was holding him. She's like, no, we're done. I was like, no, hold on 1 second. And the vet tech and the vet are watching me. And I'm holding Luigi and I'm settling him. So I'm holding him. And I'm feeling him and I'm like relaxing. And I could feel his body relax. And I just let my hands go. And he's just standing there. And he just walks away. And she's like, A, how did you do that? And B, why did you do that?
That's the best question.
Yeah.
Why did you do it?
Exactly. So I said, how I did it was when he was freaking the fuck out, I'm holding pressure. But if you notice my breathing, was like to make him feel my energy of calmness. And when I felt him starting to settle down, I started taking some pressure off of my holding, like the pressure I was holding him, and settling him. And then when I felt him totally relax, I just let my hands go. And why did I do that? Because I didn't want his last experience being with the nails of like, get me out of here.
Right.
And that's his last experience. So how it ends, by the way, is more important than how it starts. Perfect example with that Instagram with that sheepadoodle. Started with meltdown, I will not go near that. Ended with agility, jumping over it. So they were like, wow, that's super interesting and all that stuff. What most people are going to do is they're going to be like, let's throw him on some trazodone and throw him on all these like tranquilizers and pills and stuff so he can deal with that stuff. I'm like, yeah, or we could teach him the right way. But I understand. So this is what you were talking about, is we just did some sessions with a vet. I do a lot of sessions with vets, by the way, and she gave me some good insight, and I really I appreciate that. And she's like, I know what everyone says about the medication stuff. Like she goes, but you have to remember, there's a lot of people who are the owners who come in here who we know with certainty they ain't gonna do shit with this dog.
Right.
So what are our options? If they're not gonna rehome the dog, they're not gonna put the dog down. They're not gonna do any of this stuff. They're not gonna get rid of the dog. The dog is staying there in that environment, and we don't know how to influence them. That's why I hope I can influence these people, but we don't feel that they're going to change anything. And for that dog to live in that amount of stress that long is terrible for that dog, that we feel actually the better option would be to medicate them so we can just take the edge off. And I'm like, listen, I get that. Yeah. I actually understand it. I don't think it's the best way, because obviously it's the human behind the dog, and that human's fucking that dog up and ruining its life. Sorry, guys. That's what I believe. But yeah, I mean, because these people also have ego, and they say like, well, it wasn't for me. He would be in a shelter. I'm like, damn, he might be better off in a shelter, because maybe someone like me or you or go adopt that dog and lives an amazing life here at a ranch, or lives out with somebody who's like dedicated to that dog and ready to give it exercise, discipline,
That's
affection.
probably where it becomes a little bit selfish to keep the dog.
Selfish versus selfless. Yeah. And being a leader is selfless act. That's what I think first. It's like, what do I need to do for that dog? Because I'm the leader. It's like with this, in this business, I have to say, what do I have to do for the team, the company, this, before I fucking pay myself and before I take care of my shit. That I should say that, but like taking care of my own energy and all that, I have to, and everyone has to. Just like in a relationship, take care of yourself, and then you bring yourself to enhance each other's happiness. It's not your partner's responsibility to make you happy. Your responsibility is to make yourself happy. then you bring that happiness there and you try to enhance your partner, enhance the team, enhance the people around you, and they ideally do the same for you. But you really don't need it, to be honest. You shouldn't have to have it. You should be able to do it for yourself. At any environment, I can feel calm, I can feel happy, all that stuff. So yeah, getting back to that thing, I think for her, it's really a question. I would love to know more about this, actually. So if you're seeing this, either in the comments or send me a message and tell me what you've done. I want to know what you've done, because like when she's saying like exercise, what did she say? Exercise and something didn't work.
Challenging the mind.
Yeah, and it's like, so what are you doing to challenge the mind? I want to know. What are you doing for exercise? And overall, what the hell are you doing with this dog? Who are you working with? What are they telling you?
And and also, what's your interpretation of responding to?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, what is your interpretation of like how do they respond?
Good point. So then it's like, is the dog not responding in the way you perceive it to be responding? And this is what I always tell people. It was a great one yesterday that people said, well, Steve, we had another sheepadoodle comes for a session yesterday.
So many. I
know, it's so interesting how we get like a bunch at once, but of like all these breeds. But they said, Steve, how do we know like if the dog reacts? I said, listen, he's gonna still react. I told them. Like he's gonna react. Like I know this dog, he's gonna still react in your environment. These are the three things you're looking for. Hopefully I can remember them properly. Is how frequently is it happening? How intense is it? And how quickly are they recovering? Mm-hmm. Those are the three things I'm looking for in rehab. So if I'm out there with an aggression case who loses his shit every time he sees a dog, how many times does it happen? Like if it happens 10 out of 10 and now we're down to 8 out of 10, progress. If the reactions are out of 0 to 10, normally a 10, and now we're down to a 7, we're making progress. If the reaction is usually a meltdown that's like a minute long, and now the dog can recover within 20 seconds, 5 seconds, 1 second, we're making progress. That's where people usually are giving up. The training's not working, it's not going well, I can't get it, blah, 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 because it's not happening in our Amazon, Facebook era, which is what this fucking thing is causing us to do. Go watch that Social Dilemma thing and understand that we're like this, and it's like I remember do you remember back in the day when we used to get like order something?
When we didn't have
phones?
We
were kids, or we didn't have phones, but we would have to like, I know. You would like have to like, whatever it was, but.
Or before you had the internet, when you used to have to go through the magazine.
Yeah.
And call like the catalog.
That's what I was remembering, the magazine.
Yeah, the magazine, yeah.
Definitely.
But even when we had the internet in the beginning, like when we first got it, we could order something online. Even like Amazon back in the day. It's like, oh, this package will arrive in the next 7 to 10 days. And we were like, nice. Business days.
Business days.
We were like, nice. So this thing will be here in about 2 weeks. That's pretty quick. Like, that's pretty awesome. And you could pay if you were lucky in like a week or something, it would come. Yeah. Now it's like, I remember, this is myself, by the way, and this is where I realized I had to get the fuck out of the city. I would be looking and I would be like, all right, let me order this Amazon thing. Why isn't it coming same day? Yeah. Or I'm ordering at 9. This is bullshit. It's coming tomorrow. I'll be like angry about this. So look at what's happening to us. We're getting so detached from reality.
Then that's why I asked that
question. I shouldn't say reality, from nature.
That's why I asked that question. Like what is your interpretation of responding to the exercise, whatever?
Yeah.
Like, how fast do you want it to happen?
Yeah. How quickly? What is? And by the way, who are you? What are you like? What's your deal?
True.
Are you anxious? Are you frustrated? Are you nervous? Are you fearful? Not judging you in any way, but we need to assess and evaluate that, because that's a fucking huge part of being in a relationship with a dog.
Like ask yourself why is your dog anxious?
Why are they anxious? With, Like what's happening there? Is it am I super anxious? And listen, this is one where people say, oh yeah, just because the dog's anxious doesn't mean the human's anxious. I agree. I understand that part, but it's,
like 95%.
There's a lot of shit that happens there that's very close, right? Like. And listen, it doesn't mean, like, this is the thing, that the reflection of a human, right? So people would say, like, oh, I get it. So you mean, like, anxious human, anxious dog. Fearful human, fearful dog. Not always, because you can have, like, a happy-go-lucky human who's like all this, but then you get a dog who's the same, who they're charging up with excitement. Mm-hmm. But this person's not anxious, but they charge this dog up and make this dog so fucking anxious, and they don't even realize they have to exercise this dog or actually give it rules in the house. So they can create it, and it's a reflection of this that's causing this to happen. Right. With that particular dog. So
definitely,
that's what I mean by that stuff. It's like it's always the human behind the dog. That's what I say. Because puppies are born. Listen, puppies have DNA and they have genetics and all that stuff, and they're more prone to things like these doodles. I'm noticing are more prone to anxiety. And it is what it is. But it's where am I going with this? I'm trying to say, like, the anxiety is not always coming from the anxious human. Is this being clear that I'm making it? Yeah, it's not the anxiety is always coming from like an anxious human is what I mean.
Right.
Or a dog's fear isn't always coming from a fearful human.
It's not the direct result of.
It's not a direct result, but it's that human with that dog that's going to be creating that environment. It's the relationship that's really doing it. That's why I say it's the human behind the dog, because even though that dog's prone for anxiety, look, we have Nico. That shepherd is prone for anxiety. I can tell you, if I fuck that dog up and we just start petting him, and you see this guy, like he'll be the definition of the anxious.
He's prone to it.
Prone. He's more prone to being in it because he's a high drive guy. He's got a lot of energy. He wants to work. He's vocal. So you have a lot of things that can be a whiny ass anxious shepherd if we allow it to happen. But even though he's prone to it, we understand that and we apply the right thing. So it's the human or humans here behind that dog, which allow him to be a balanced 7-month-old running around off leash on this property and totally under control. So hopefully that makes sense too. Just cut that shit real short.
Yeah.
Not short.
That's it.
Real long, but short at the same time.
I wanted to say this after we finish the podcast, but I think it would be good to follow up with these people, and we can help each other with that. And Jamie, if you wanted to help with that, but follow up with those people, but also say, hey, your question made it onto the podcast.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
Let me put this. Let me put
Yes.
this question, this name up. So Patty, I just want to see your name. If you're watching this, you know your question made it onto the podcast.
Yeah.
And hopefully you can watch and get something from this, and we'll do a follow up too.
You know what would be cool potentially? Look, on the fly, we're just doing this shit. But like, what would be cool
This is how it always
potentially
is.
is to like see how these people are doing, and then maybe bring them on to redo or to so what I'm looking for.
No,
to get more depth into what happened there.
I actually like that idea because we can schedule it like this. Ask the pack leader questions happened.
Yeah.
And then the next episode is we're following up with these people. We brought them onto the show. All three of the questions that we just asked today, we just brought them onto the show.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, let us know what you think.
What do
Like,
you-
would you rather me talking to these people, like, and doing like a consultation-ish type thing, or do you like them asking the question and me just answering it like this? Because I'm here for you guys. I don't give a shit. I'll do it either way.
We're
However
open
you
to
want.
anything.
I think they are gonna like.
As you guys
people
know,
on.
like, I'll go live and bring on some crazy ass dog and do it. I don't care because I'm confident in my skills. And if you guys think I suck at it, fine. I know I'm good at it. I'm pretty good at it. I know what I'm doing to a degree, and then I make mistakes. And this is what I was talking about. That I don't know if we talked about this yet. That sheepadoodle video that we're gonna break that down.
Yeah, we did talk about it.
Okay, yeah. So when we break that down, I was telling Adam, I want to show these people that, like, oh, you see right there, stop that, pause, where he went to go bite the leash and I told him no for that. That actually is like more of a subconscious habit of doing that. It was actually okay that he was biting the leash there because he was getting frisky and I wanted that. You know what I mean? So people can understand all the things all the way through, and then maybe they can ask me questions like throughout that or something, or about that breakdown video.
Yeah,
So
that'd be
then
good.
you might be able to do that live. You
That'd
could
be
do that
cool.
on a live YouTube.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, live, and then people can ask questions in the chat. Like
This is cool
live.
too. I hope you guys are enjoying this, like, of how like our team kind of processes things, and like I'm the last person who's gonna come in. This is what we're doing, because I don't perceive to have or have the audacity to think that I have all the answers or I'm the best or I know everything.
Yeah, sometimes.
It
Sometimes
depends
I
on
do.
the topic.
Yeah,
Sometimes I have a little bit of this going on. But that's good.
when
I don't
he
give a
when he
shit what
doesn't see
anyone
the
says.
like utmost confidence in a situation, he will have
Yeah.
to like. We talked
Sometimes,
about that
like,
with the Facebook ads. Things.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm new to the ads, but we're gonna get to that.
Sometimes like
level.
it brings out like my hockey days from back in the day of like, yeah, we're gonna wreck this team, we're gonna beat them 5-0, we're gonna check we're gonna get this done, and I'm the best on the ice, blah blah. And listen, in competition and sports, sometimes you have to have the mentality. Like, you don't go into a game thinking like, I hope we'll win this game. Look, that's the same thing. Belief versus the how to. Well, how are you gonna beat that team?
Right.
Well, do you believe you can beat them? Not really. So then fucking forget about it. Don't forget about your strategy. I wouldn't even bother. You know what I mean? Well, do you believe you can beat them? Yes, I know we can beat them. Even though they have a better record, who gives a shit? We're going to beat them. That's what I think has helped me in business, too, is like that mentality of like, in the face of all, like, you can't.
Oh,
There's
for
enough
sure. It's
people
like, we'll
saying
figure
you
it
can't.
out.
Yeah. Enough of the outside world is judging you and saying you can't do it, you won't be able to, you're not good enough, blah, blah, blah. Don't do that shit to yourself, is what I'm saying. Like, don't fucking say to yourself, like, yeah, maybe, let me listen to them. First of all, they don't even fucking know you. This is a great one.
If anything, I feel like that's more fuel.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you said we can't do it?
Yeah.
Okay, watch
Listen.
us, we're going to do it.
Exactly, that's true.
Cassie, my parents, my brother, those are probably the people who are the closest to me right now. They don't know all about me. They don't know all about me. And I like, so if they don't know all about me, who gives a shit what the coworker says, some fucking person says online, or blah, 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 blah. It's like, that they don't even know you and they're judging you. So they already just showed their cards and said that they don't know what the fuck is going on. That's not someone you should listen to. Because I would never do that. I'm not going to do that. Listen, my old self would have definitely done that. Because it would have been my way as my insecure self to be like, let me bring you down. Because then it'll make me feel better. And I'm dealing with these traumas and these insecurities. But now I'm like more in the mode of like, That's awesome. How can we help you? That's really cool. I think you can do it, dude. Don't sell yourself short. Maybe you can. This is going to be, it's going to be a challenge, but you can do it. Put your mind to it. Put the belief to it. I think that's a really good way to end this thing.
To wrap it up.
And how to. Yeah, like your self-talk. Assess your self-talk. Because this is what I'm saying. The answers are within. I'm not talking some bullshit of like, I learned all this stuff, but this has all been applied. I don't talk shit that I haven't done, really. You know what I mean? So these are the things that I went from like insecure, like all that bullshit, rock bottom, to who I am now and how I feel now. It's like, I always say, like, I look back, I'm like, oh yeah, remember that guy from back in the day? The guy who was fat as and drinking.
You know what? What about Sober November?
Oh yeah. So that's another thing I decided. I was like, for this is sober. We decided to do. I saw Joe Rogan did Sober October, and he's done it for years. And I was like, I saw that like later on in October, and I was like, he's doing October. Let's do Sober November. Screw it. Yeah. And the reason I did that was like I wanted to remove everything out. No drinking. Like nothing that could faze me in any way. Just to be myself. Right. Just to see like what that is like. What is it like to go to like go get a drink, I'm about to say. Can you believe this? Yeah. Like, what is it like?
What is that?
I know. What is it like to go to like a restaurant and sit there and just eat food and not get a cocktail and try to have drinks or what is that like?
What is it like to even go back to a restaurant now? Like,
yeah, I know, that too. But yeah, so Sober November, we're doing that, and I asked people on team, some are doing it, some aren't, which is okay. And I just wanted to be a way as like Sober November, what really it is a growth November in my opinion, to really learn about yourself and grow and get better. Mm-hmm. And I've been feeling like really energized, to be honest.
Super good.
And it's only day 4.
I know.
Day 4.
I'm not really
4, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's 4 days in, and I'm like, I don't fucking care.
Today, this morning, we were talking about it, like how good we're doing and
energized.
Feeling not that we were like necessarily like drunks or nothing like that.
No.
But there's like, things that
that can really influence for sure.
Exactly.
Like listen, like my good friend from back home came over with his wife who's pregnant, and we like had to. And actually, it was October 31st. By the way, which is the last day before Sober November, so I was like, I am having some cocktails today with my friend, and I had some espresso martinis, and I'm like getting wild. That next day, holy shit, was I like all fucked up, and I was like, this is like, I'm so pumped to be doing this, to be like, to just see what it's like to go 30 straight days without any influence.
The days leading up to it, you're like, I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And I'm like, I'll be honest, in the beginning, like you start realizing, because you learn about yourself, you start realizing like, wow, now would be the time that I'd be like, yo, you guys want to go grab a drink, or you want to do that? Like, and you just waste time with that bullshit. It's just a habit of like occupying yourself with nonsense, you know?
That you're not even aware of.
Yeah, like I haven't thought of anything to do, so let's just go to that thing that's easy, that's kind of a habit,
like
that can like bring me out of reality and live in this illusion of reality, like in unconsciousness, like subconsciousness or whatever you want to call it, like not being conscious, not being in real reality.
Right.
And people who are under the influence, like all day long, year after year, blah, 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 they're just literally letting their life pass by. They're not aware. They're not conscious. They're living in an illusion of reality, in unconsciousness. La, 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 high, drunk, la, 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 death. That sucks. And I feel for those people. I understand how stuck those people are in those things, but I want to be able to help them.
Yeah.
That's my goal.
So I know you don't drink like all the time or anything, but have you noticed anything for yourself?
With not drinking?
Yeah, or with not doing, anything.
Yeah, she's not getting wild on the weekends.
Yeah. No, I will say last night I had some pasta and I was like, oh, wine would be really nice with this. Yeah. Usually, but I was like, no, I'm not gonna. And I felt fine.
Yeah. It starts in the mind, for real. It's like a mind thing of like again, belief in how too. It's like the belief is like, I need to have this wine tonight. I definitely need this tonight.
Right.
And it's like, to me, that's our lower self being like, yeah, you need that alcohol.
Or like, I need it to unwind.
Yeah, you need that. You need this. So the belief is you need it, and then you figure out the how to, which is easy.
Yeah.
To the face, done. I was good at that shit, by the way.
I got good moving out here.
Yeah, like, and I would tell you, like, and I'm so grateful to be on, like going back in the past, like those. I mean, I did like a decade of partying basically, and I was still somewhat productive in things, but just like...
That's where it's dangerous, actually.
Yeah, that's like where it was, because you have this illusion that you're really being productive. Yeah. Here's a good one that someone said.
Last thing, and then
I promise everybody.
Are you kicking us off, Jamie?
Sorry,
yes,
yeah,
you have other things to do today.
I know. This is her job.
Just so you know, it's Jamie's fault if we have to leave.
That's right. Yeah.
So blame it on her.
That's fine. I'll take that.
We will drop the Instagram handle in there, so you could go directly to her.
Oh my God, I forgot what I was going to say now. You guys confused me.
Good.
Partying days.
Perfect.
Oh, there was a guy, like a real estate guy, right? And he's going around, he's like in the public eye, and he goes, someone comes up, and he's sober. He used to be an addict, big addict, right? And he's sober now. And he goes, hey, I know you always say what it's like people can't be high functioning, high performers without like, while they're on like under the influence and stuff like that, like whether it's alcohol, weed, like cocaine, whatever the hell. And he goes, my buddy is super high performer and he smokes weed every day. He goes, what do you think about that? And the guy goes, he looks at him and he goes, imagine what he'd be like if he didn't smoke weed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, that's a fucking good one right there. Like I would have never even thought that. I'm like, because I'd be like, yeah, what do you have to say about that? And he's like, yeah, well, what if he didn't? I'm like, damn, it's such a good mindset to be like, so he's that good with it. Imagine what he would be like without it.
That's a good one.
That being said, marijuana just got legalized in New
Jersey. Yeah, it's legalized in New Jersey. It's crazy. Yeah. But yeah, good stuff, guys. I hope you guys are enjoying this stuff. I have a lot of fun doing this stuff. And you know what's the funniest part is this is like the thing that we don't get paid to do. And this is the part that I actually enjoy somewhat the most. Yeah. Listen, what I always tell people is like the money thing is what's needed to be able to fund things like this, fund dog parks, fund this land, so I can do this and share this with you guys. The last thing I want to do is just get this all for myself, because that's like, who is that going to be? My energy is going to be nice and small and nothing. So when I'm doing this and we're doing this and sharing it with you guys, this positive, good energy is spreading. And people are healing. People are dealing with their traumas. Their dogs are getting better. Less dogs will be dying. That's the whole purpose of this thing. So I hope you guys are enjoying it. Yep. Give us feedback. Steve, you ramble too much.
I have a piece of feedback. Yeah. People like the fact that you're here now, Jamie, and you're asking questions. You're like giving input. Good enough? Nobody had anything.
Feminine touch.
Nobody had anything good to say about you, Steve. By the way,
yeah. What else is new?
The fact that Jamie's
They're kind
on.
of sick of you.
Yeah. They needed a change up basically, and you provided that for us. So
I had to learn baseball throwing that change up. That really helped. Yeah. But yeah, awesome. Thank you guys. We'll do more of these. Give us feedback. Steve, you suck. Steve, you're awesome. Jamie, you're the best. Adam, you're the worst. No, that's not actually it.
So two good pieces of feedback. Jamie's good and Adam's good, and Steve needs to
Steve sucks.
Work
Got
on
it.
Shit.
All right. See you guys in the next episode. Love you guys. See you soon.
Bye.
That was good. Really cool.
That was a good one.
I'm like an hour behind this call, right?